dollar trying to keep it frozen?
I heard it, and in fact, RT contacted me again this week. It's about the 15th time. No, it was last week, to go on regarding the Middle East, and I refused. I said, come back when we got a better subject. But, you know, when you're going on against ambassadors and people like that who have had a long history specializing in just that, you better be in a subject that you really know. And I don't like getting cut up on television. So I only pick the spots I want. And they know that.
And good on you, too, man.
Well, one of the reasons that they have been trying to get me on RT is because they know that I, for years, worked against the KGB and the Stasi and all those kind of people. And so they want to see what I'm made out of.
Well, I tell you what, you hold your own pretty good. And, I mean, how many shows do you do a week?
Only about 35.
Oh, is that it? Okay, boy, you're cutting back, huh?
But I write 2 issues a week.
And
I play golf twice a week as well. I'm playing pretty good. I'm playing in the 90s. And for a 75-year-old, that's okay. And my drives are about 270.
Really?
And they're in the fairway.
You got some cheater drivers or anything, or is that just
What's a cheater driver?
Is that skill? Now, you know how they have them. They have drivers now that are actually charged with nitrogen.
No, I don't have drivers like that. I use this. What do they call them? Callaway. I use Callaway clubs. They're pretty good.
Oh, hey, I'm not much of a golfer. You know, I kind of do. If you're familiar with the movie Happy Gilmore, that's kind of like me.
Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
I swing for the fences, you know.
I love golf movies. I started caddying when I was 8, and I caddied as a teenager for a lot of big-time pros at that time. I loved the game, and I was, you know, I grew up. I was very poor, and so, you know, caddy was a very, very good thing for me because my family could use the money. But it really stuck with me, and I'm happy I learned the game. It did a lot for me.
Do you think that how would you, if you were to recommend to my listeners tonight about where to put their money and their preparation into, what would you suggest they do? Especially like if they're just starting out, what would you say that the person just starting out should do, knowing how much time that you think we may have or not have?
Well, they don't have any time or money for investment, so that's out. And so the most important thing is they may get laid off next week. So if they're a young couple and they're married and they might have a child, what they do is, if they're relatively poor like I was when I started, what you do is the first thing is start getting some extra canned goods in case you lose your job, and just make sure you rotate them. And if you can get a little more money, then you buy some dehydrated and freeze-dried food in case you get laid off. You put some extra cash away so that maybe you could pay a couple of months' rent if you had to, if you lost your job. These are the most important things. If you live in the inner city, it'd be a good idea if you had something to defend your family with, and if you don't know how to use a weapon, then you go and you learn how. There are, you know, all kinds of NRA and places to learn. I trained my own kids when they were small. I started them off at 4, and believe me, they're good.
Yeah, I did the same thing as well.
Yeah, and my wife and I have been shooters all our life, and we're exceptionally good at it in all kinds of weaponry. But I'm not saying everybody should do that, but I think they should have something to defend their home, whether it's a riot gun or a .45 or or an AK or whatever they choose. There should be something there that they know how to use. And don't forget, the minute you pick it up and put one in the chamber, you better use it, or you're a dead man.
That's right. Hey, what do you think? What do you think of the South Dakota legislature kind of poking back at Obama a little bit and his administration by introducing legislation requiring everybody 21 and up to purchase a firearm?
I think it's wonderful.
What a fantastic dig, isn't it?
There's 450 million weapons in the country. There's 80 million veterans, 40 million of which have seen combat. Then there's a lot of people who shoot. I want to say this, and I talk to a lot of military people because I do military programs deliberately because I'm a veteran. And were a foreign power be invited to bring their troops into America, say Chinese or whatever, they would never go home. And
No,
I'm not talking
right.
about the public saying that. I'm talking about our military saying that. They understand now. And that's why that particular program is number one in Blog Talk, because it goes all over the world. And the audience is enormous. And we have people from the State Department come in on the program and tell us exactly what's going on. And all of the embassies and the consulates in the world for the United States government all have the international forecaster because they pirate it. Everybody who wants it on the Beltway has it. It's probably the most popular publication in the world.
Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy reading the doom and gloom, personally.
No, that's not what it is. It's reality and truth.
Oh, no, I know.
I mean, even Fidel Castro had Grandma get in touch with me, maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Really?
And say, we want to become subscribers. Is that okay? I said, sure. If Fidel wants to read it, it's all right with me.
How do you like that, huh? That's something.
Well, Chavez is also another subscriber. Now, I should say it properly in Spanish, Chavez. But anyway.
I've never, I'll tell you what, one thing I'll never forget about him was when Bush was making a speech at the United Nations in front of everybody, and Bush leaves the podium, and Chavez comes up next, and he says, he kind of sniffs around, and he says, still smells of sulfur up here.
That was a good line. That was a good line.
So, I mean,
and it's so true.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But, he's the antithesis, too. He really doesn't understand how it all goes down. Fidel does, but it took him about 60 years to find out.
Yeah.
I've been in Cuba before. Of course, I'm banned as an American citizen from going there, but I've been there. And they don't stamp your passport, so no one could ever prove I was there. But it's a state of arrested development. It's a beautiful country. And for those who, like that kind of weather and atmosphere, music's great. People are very nice. But the government doesn't work. And I think, Fidel found that out a long, long time ago. But, you get in power, you want to stay there.
You're absolutely right. That's just it. It's how long can they keep it going before it finally collapses. How many times have we seen socialism just doesn't work? It just does not work. And there's so many people and so many countries that strive towards it, and I just don't know why they don't get it through their heads finally and say, you know what, we got to come up with something a little bit different because this just isn't working.
Well, we're beset with fascism now, which is no better than socialism.
All right.
And there's got to be another way, a third way we'll call it. And America's got to wake up to what these corporations are doing to the country. Free trade, globalization, offshore, and outsourcing. they've killed 8.5 million jobs in 10 years, and we've lost 42,400 businesses. I mean, where does it end? I mean,
right.
Are we all going to be picking bananas or something?
I don't know, because everything's outsourced. Who knows? I mean, or they'll have the Mexicans come in and they'll do it for us. And then, then what do we do? That's the question that I have is, how is it that we continue to move along as a country, and how can they say that we continue to grow, our economy continues to grow, if we have no manufacturing or our private sector is just getting decimated?
Lies, lies, and more lies.
Yeah, it's a real shame, Bob, and I can only hope that as we go along here that people pull their heads out of their rear ends and they see the light and maybe make a change for the better. But I'm telling you, I don't see it happening unless we have some sort of significant event that really slaps people into consciousness. Because if there's one thing I found out is that if Joe Schmuckatelli still has NFL on Sundays, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. If he can stay disconnected.
Well, you're right about that. And there will be that untoward event that nobody expects. And it will happen. And why? We don't know. But it will happen. And we'll be saved again. The price that we'll have to pay will be very dear. I would expect that maybe half of the people in the world would die. But that's what it's going to come to, because these people are not going to give up easy. They got to get out in flames this time. It's no more Mr. Nice Guy. They got to be tried, put away, or hung, like our ex-president.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
And it's the only thing they understand. And they're gutless. Believe me. I worked with them for 28 years on Wall Street.
Well, better you than me, Bob. That's all I could say, because I don't know if I could actually do that. But it's 9 o'clock, so we're going to go to break. Thank you, Bob, for coming on tonight. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on Freedom Link Radio and giving my listeners an hour of your time. And we'll talk to you again next month.
You got it, and I'll be here, and I thank you very much, and thank you all for listening.
Thanks,
Bob.
Bye-bye.
When we come back, folks, we'll have the King's Court, followed by some more conversation with myself, Griff, and John. So stay tuned. This is Freedom Link Radio on the Intel Hub News Network.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and family. Now this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years, but the crazy part is he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties, a few years ago. In fact, Baronis called his work a dire prophecy. Now, this has nothing to do with the stock market, but it could have a huge impact on almost every aspect of your life. And recently, he created a video which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica8.com. Although this video may be offensive to some audiences, it's worth checking out. Again, that's www.endofamerica8.com. Watch this free video at www.endofamerica8.com.
Are you still paying your credit cards and so-called bank loans thinking that you owe the money? Do you feel like it's your moral obligation